Hi, welcome back. In the last session, we have seen the definition of SQL, like what are the meaning of individual terms in SQL, like what is structure, what is query, and what is the language. So before starting further, first we need to understand some basic terms. Okay, like what is data, what is database, and what is SQL editor. See, now we understand that SQL is used to communicate with the database, right? So, first we need to understand what is the database. What is the data? Alright, so first we will see the term data. See, whenever you ask the question to the database, it returns the result in the form of data. So, if you are not understanding the data, then how would you understand the result, or how would you verify the result? So you need to know the data to query the database and to verify the result which you will get from the query. So data is the collection of facts or figures that can be recorded. For example, if there is one person and if we talk about what is his name, what is his age, address, and occupation. So what are all these terms? So all these individual terms are nothing but the facts. And data could be a collection of values like character, number, image, picture, audio, video, anything. So all these things are data, and yes, it should be recorded or saved somewhere so that we can refer it in the future, right? See, everything on the internet, like if you are typing something on the Facebook, on YouTube, or any other social media, what is all this? This is nothing but the data only, right? So this is all about the data. Now come to the database. You can consider the database as a person to whom you are going to interact with the SQL language. Before starting the SQL, you should know the basics of database. Alright. So you can say that it is a collection of related data. Suppose I have a list of subject name, then car's name, then department names. So if we combine all these things together, will it form a database? No. Why? Because this is not the related data. So database is a collection of related data so that it can be easily accessed and managed. Suppose we have a list of employee, department, managers, like that. So if we combine all these things together, it will form a database because this is the related data. So why we are forming the database? So that we can derive some information like how many employees are in a particular department, what are the salaries of the employees, like that. Now come to the RDBMS. So RDBMS basically stands for the Relational Database Management System, and RDBMS is the basis for the SQL and for all the modern database system like MS SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, DB2, etc. So RDBMS is a DBMS that is based on the relational model. Data in an RDBMS is stored in the form of tables, and table is basically a collection of related data and consists of numerous columns and rows. Alright, so all this is about the database, and in the database we have focused on the RDBMS. Alright, so come to the next point, SQL Editor. See, it is a SQL Editor tool or medium on which you are going to write the SQL queries to communicate with the database. For example, suppose you want to communicate with your friend but you don't know where he is. So, what would you do? Will you shout? No, right? You will use your phone to talk to him. So here phone is the medium to communicate with your friend. So just like phone, here SQL Editor tool is a medium, and dialing the number is just like using SQL language to talk to the database. So SQL Editor tool allow executing, performing SQL queries in database so that we can store, extract and manipulate the data. There are various tools available in the market like Oracle SQL Developer, Toad for SQL Server, MySQL Workbench and SQLite Studio, etc. So it's totally depend on the organization's project requirement scenario that which tool they are going to use. Most popular tool is the Oracle SQL Developer, and in coming scenario I will use that tool as a reference. Alright, so all these topics about the starting the SQL means before starting the SQL, what the basic terms we should know. Alright, so that's all for today's session. Thank you.